Someone is messing with my YouTube live. Oh my goodness me. Can you hear me speak? I don't know if there's anyone on now, but can you hear me speak? Okay, I can see some people joined in now. So thanks for joining in. Someone has messed up the initial link that I used, so I have to do the recording on another link. So thank you so much for joining in. It's a privilege to have you here. If you can hear me, I think the chat box are good to go. So you can just text in there. You can just put your comment in there. Then we can also read it aloud. Okay. All right. So let's start. So basically today, awesome. Thanks, guys. So basically, I wanted to have a small reflection or a small chat with you guys about what the year has been so far, beginning of year to March, end of March. It has been some way for many people, but God being so good, we are still alive. So that's the most important thing. But that notwithstanding, we need to still reflect on what has been and what we can do again going forward. So basically, this is what this session is about, our reflections. But most importantly, I would want to hear from you what the year has been so far, your successes, your challenges, especially relating to your personal finances. Then we will zoom into what the future holds or what we can do for the next 9 months, including April. So basically, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I mean, this session is meant to encourage, to inspire, and for those of us who have had a beautiful year, to also ginger you for better months ahead. So basically, that's all that I wanted to share with you today. So again, let me just start off with. But again, if you have any question, please you can reach me on my WhatsApp or my Twitter feed. Just hit me up on my DM and I'll respond on this. You can also leave the chat here and I'll also respond as well. But basically, what I want to hear from you is three things. And the first thing is, how has the first quarter of your being year be? Your first quarter, January to March, how has it been for you? Then what did you achieve? Means your successes, your challenges as well. And what are you looking to do to improve going forward in the coming months? So probably let me just start the ball rolling. Probably on a more positive note, what my Q1 has been for me. I mean, just like most people, I mean, the COVID has affected many things. For me, the most important thing is I have life, and I think everybody shares in that. If you're watching, you have life, and that's the most important thing. We need to cherish that bit as well. Also, what I want to do is that I want to be able to share with you some of the things that I was able to achieve in the first half or first quarter of the year. Then we can learn from it. So, what the first thing I want to share with you is that this is more quite personal, but I was able to clear an existing loan that I had over the past 3 years. So I had a 5-year loan and I was able to, clear it in 3.5 years. That was the original plan anyway. So, and God being so good, this much, I was within this first quarter, I was able to clear that outstanding loan that I had initially. So I'm hoping that I'll just share with you some things that I did that you could also learn from to be able to clear any outstanding loans or debts that you may have. But first off, hope if you want to take any form of loan, make sure that loan is meant to improve upon your life. Don't take any loan just to go and chill or going to buy any fancy stuff. If a loan can help you improve your life, it can help you get an asset, whatever it may be that's profitable, I think can go for it. Also be aware of the interest rates that the loans are applicable on. So what did I do to be able to pay off this 5.5 year loan in 3 years? So every month they deducted a certain amount of money from my account. So what I did is I also put some money aside every single month to be able to meet the outstanding loan that I would have had at the end of the third year. So every month, if let's say I'm paying 100 CDs, I also put another 100 CDs aside. So that's what we call the debt snowball method. So any extra income that you have, you can use it to be able to offset your loan. What do? So instead of paying the loan, you can put in an investment account. Then little by little, it just keep topping up. So getting to the time that you want to pay off the loan, I'm sure you'd have had enough money in the investment account. You can even tag the investment account as a loan repayment account. Use that to go and pay off that loan that you may have. So that's what I did to be able to clear my outstanding loan that I had from 3 years ago. And now the loan is gone. And I was so happy when the loan left my books. So I think the goal for everybody is to be able to have no outstanding loans. So if anything, that's that you can use the method I showed you to be able to clear any loans that you have. Now, another thing that I was able to do for the first quarter of the year was I was able to reduce my expenditure on food. Now, for most of you that maybe know me personally, we've been working from home for quite some time. And I'm someone who likes wasting food a lot, especially when it comes to the groceries. My bread especially, I like bread a lot. But now I've learned to, no matter how maybe old the bread is, be it a week or 2 weeks, I'm able to still microwave it, or I'm able to toast it, then eat it. Initially, after 2 days or 3 days, I just throw the bread away. But now I don't do that anymore. And also, I don't stock my fridge like I used to do, because I realized that if I don't stock, I'm able to cut back on some of the expenditures. But initially, if you come into my fridge, there are so many items that are in there that I won't use, then to go bad. But now I've cut back on the grocery spending. I've made sure that I only buy the items that I really, really, really need for a given period, and I keep it in my fridge. So I think that's another thing that, I mean, it may be small, whatever it may be, but it saves you some money. In my area, bread is 9 cedis, now 10 cedis. So imagine if every week you're buying two, that is 20 cedis. But now I buy one, and for like a week and a half, it can still stay in the fridge, and I can use it. So that's another thing that I use to be able to make sure that I'm cutting back on my cost. So that's another positive I wanted to share with you. The another thing that I was able to share with, or I was able to achieve in this quarter, is I was able to speak on a lot of platforms about finances. I was able to speak about finances to many people, and the good thing is that some of these people paid some honorariums or something small for me, and it was a chance for me to get something back. So I'll say now I'm getting some form of a little income. It's not much, but I got something little from my talks with people. I was able to work with the AU, with the West African Union. I was able to work with UNICEF. I had a program for the AU volunteers. I was able to speak on that as well. And it was quite insightful as well. I received positive feedback as well. So that's some of the things that, and again, it's about finding the little things, and I find little things that can help you get some small money coming in. Like I mentioned, let's make 2021 the year of the side hustles. Let's get something doing. Another thing I wanted to share with you is that I was able to register for Uber. So very soon I'll be using my personal car as Uber. Maybe in the evenings or something, I'll be able to drive around and get something small. I just want to experiment it for, let's say, a week or a week and a half. If it goes well, then I can make it maybe more permanent going forward. But that's some of the things that I was able to achieve as well. Another thing I was able to do is that after the 3 months, I raised my hands. I defaulted once in my budgeting. That was February, and I'm sure that was a positive for me. I was able to, January I stuck to my budget, March I stuck with my budget, but February I wasn't able to stick with my budget. And I think it's something that we all can learn from. And the main thing was some expenses that I didn't plan well, or even if I didn't plan really well for them, came up in February. So it's important that we use this also as a platform as well to educate people about we are fallible. We don't say that once you draw your budget, you have to necessarily stick to it. If you stick to it, it's fine, but it's also okay to default in your budget and learn from it. That's the most important bit. Learning from whatever mistakes you made, and how you can also improve on that. So that's another beautiful thing that happened to me in the first 3 months of the year. I don't know if I'm still clear. If not, I don't know if someone can put on the chat whether I'm still clear. Just let me see so I can know that I'm being heard loud and clear. Okay, so let me just go ahead. Another thing that was a huge positive for me in the first quarter of the year was that I was able to avoid buying things on impulse. Now, that has been one of my serious challenges. I always, when I see something that's really nice, I want to buy it. But this year I stuck to the 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 24-hour rule, the 10-day rule, and the 21-day rule. So I think it's the same thing that could apply to you. If you see something that you think that you need, you can sleep on it for the following day. If you still need it, you can go ahead and buy it. Also, you can use a 1 week rule or a 3 week rule. I mean, many of you know that I've been dying to buy the PS5, but again, I mean, in as much as I want to buy it, I still feel that the prices are still high. So I mean, I still don't want to buy because I feel that the prices still keep coming down a bit. I've had instances where I nearly bought it, but I was like, let me sleep over it again. When I slept over it, and I was like, nah, this thing is not, it's not that's of a necessity. So let me just wait on it a bit. So I think having rules for your life that okay, now 10, maybe a 10-day rule, a 24-hour rule would help you avoid impulse buying, because I think some of the things that really eats into our income. Another thing that I should share with you in terms of my progress in this year is that my accountability partner that I also told you guys that you should find one has been really helpful in terms of decision making. And I always tell you guys that get that person that you trust. If you have any question or if you have any maybe purchase you want to make, you can discuss with the person. How is this? Or I want to do this. What do you think about it? Let the person give you a second opinion about it, and to help you make that decision. Okay, I don't really need this, or I need this. And to help you, and the bottom line is find someone that you really trust that can help you in that instance. And I'm hopeful that if you don't have anyone, you can just always hit me up. As always, just hit me up. You pay something small like 2 cedis or 3 cedis, and I can help you be accountability partner for, let's say, a day or two. Anyways, and another thing is that one thing that I should also say is that the first quarter I was able to also invest all my windfalls. Now, what are windfalls? So these are monies that came in that you didn't plan for at the beginning of or when you're budgeting. So if any extra income came in, I was able to invest that money, and that's what we call windfalls. So not the 200, not the 100%, but majority of the income, whether it's 70% or 80%, I was able to invest. I didn't blow that money aside. I just made sure that if it's a windfall, I invested majority of it, maybe the 80% or 70% of that particular money. So I've shared with you a couple of things that are in quote my successes for the first quarter of the year. But that notwithstanding, there has also been some challenges, and it's important that I also highlight some of these things for you. And I even spoke about one that I defaulted in the February budgeting, and again, it's supposed to help you know that even if you default, you can always come back on track to be able to progress or move forward. So that's the first thing that happened to me. And also I was hit with some expenses that I really didn't plan for it. Some emergencies that I had to cough up some money to pay up. So that one was part of the reasons why my February budget went astray. So that's another thing that I should probably point out, that no matter where you are, there's always some that expense that will come on board that would, I mean, you can plan all you want, you can plan everything you want to do, but that expense will always come. And that's why it's important that we have a buffer, that in case that thing comes on board, you have something that you can rely on to be able to sustain you. And that's why I always preach that everybody should get an emergency fund. Get something small. Even it doesn't have to be much, but just something that if anything happens to you or anything that situation happens, you're able to rely on it to be able to get your way out of that situation. That is good. Another thing that probably I'll put it this way. Another thing that I didn't do well was that in January I wanted to invest in Bitcoin, but I didn't. I mean, I don't know what happened, but I didn't invest in Bitcoin in January. And I think I wanted to do that. I think I have a video on Bitcoin. So after that video, I wanted to invest in Bitcoin. I only just put something little in there, and at that time the price was around 20. Let me just be sure. Around 27th January was around 30,000 US dollars. So I wanted to buy something really really small, but I didn't. I just waited a while. In fact, up to now, I haven't bought the Bitcoin yet. But what I regret was that, or what I regret is that now the price has jumped from 30,000 US dollars to now, as at 4th April, was around 58,000 USD. That's almost 100% increment in its price. But another thing that I should point out is that during the months there was some increases and there's some decreases as well. Now I remember that around March it was around 58k or something, or 60k. I think 20th March or so. The following week it dipped to like 42,000 USD. So in as much as you want to buy, or if you want to buy, I think it's important that you time the market, because sometimes the price can go up or it can come down. Maybe you know, be the lucky person, you bought it today at 50,000 or 58,000 USD. The following day it can go to 42,000 USD, and you should be able to know that, okay, will I be able to stay strong, or will I be able to withstand this? And that's why I always say that if you want to buy into Bitcoin, treat it as a very long-term investment. Don't see it as a short-term investment. Say, okay, I want to buy like 1 week and get some quick cash. It could go in favor of you, or it can come against you. Like I mentioned, at one particular point, it was 60,000 US dollars, and it dropped to $42,000. So if probably you have some quick, that was your intention, maybe you'd have been demotivated to not invest anymore. But over the long term, I think it could be a good investment. But if you're only a risk tolerant person, then you can go for the Bitcoin. But I mean, I think that maybe I'm just hoping that the price comes down, because I think the price is a bit on the high now, and I'm hoping that it comes down further. Then I'll probably buy something small that I can afford, in quote, I can afford to lose if it should go south. So if you're also a risk tolerant individual and you want to, I think you should watch my video about Bitcoin first. If you really understand it, then you can decide to invest in it as well. Now, another thing that I should also, Sylvia, I agree with you that it will come down. I mean, that's what I think it is actually, and that's always been a dynamics. It will go up, then at a point to when it comes down drastically. So people should be on the lookout. Again, don't treat it as a get rich quick scheme. It can fail you if you treat it as that. If you can afford to lose whatever you can put in a Bitcoin, that's up to you. But for me, don't invest in it if you are not a risk tolerant individual, and that's just my personal opinion. Now, what is the way forward? I mean, but before I go into that, I also want to learn from you I've shared my successes and some of my challenges that I faced in the first quarter of the year. So I also want to learn from you. What have you succeeded at, or what have you achieved this first quarter of the year in terms of personal finances, and what are some of the challenges that you faced? And just type it in the comment section, or just send me a DM on Twitter or WhatsApp, and I'll just read it so that people can also learn. Most importantly, what we have learned. I'll come to my learnings, what I've learned so far. I'll come there soon, but you can also share with me what you have learned so far. Then we can also make progress as well. So I want to see maybe some comments either in my DM on Twitter or on my WhatsApp. So just probably give a minute or two for people to just type in what they have succeeded at the beginning, from beginning of the year to this. Yes, Sylvia, we will do another session on Clubhouse. So Clubhouse too. I have a room on Clubhouse which is called Your Money Matters, where I'll be able to get feedback from you as well. So after this session, we can also go to Clubhouse. I'll host another room. Then we can get a more personalized view on all of these things. But that notwithstanding, you can always hit me up on my DM or in the chat box what you have learned or what you succeeded at the beginning from the beginning of the year to now, and what your maybe include challenges or failures have been. Before I move to another thing, that I should probably point out is that, so this year I want to start my podcast, but I have not been successful at it. I mean, I'm in contact with some people to help me push the agenda. So we are working hard to bring it as that. We call it the Money Mondays podcast. And I'm working with Gold Coast Reports to be able to come up with a good podcast, which will be soon. So hopefully we can get to also link up on my podcast as well. I think it will be really, really helpful for many people. If you can't watch YouTube videos all the time, you can have something that on the go that you can listen as you go along. So hopefully my podcast should be live very soon, and hopefully you can get some good feedback as well. Yeah. But guys, again, the most important thing is I want to learn from you. What have you done at the beginning of the year to now? What have you achieved? What are some of the challenges you faced? And also what we can all learn from here as well. So just maybe a minute or two just to get some good feedback from you guys and from your good selves. If you have any comments, please feel free to post them. Okay. Any comment? Let me see. Yeah, so I don't know if you just joined in. The this thing, my initial link failed because I don't know, someone was hacked it or whatever it is. Someone hacked it, so there's no feedback on that particular one. So I had to set up this particular link to be able to communicate with you guys. So apologies if you joined with the old link and you weren't able to get through to me. Yeah, I have a comment from Savior. Just a second. Okay. Savior says he's reduced unplanned spending, like those dashing out money. Yeah, Savior, I think it's one of the things that I always talk about. Sometimes, and this is what I recommend people do, that people should have an allocation for giving. So let's say you can say, okay, I'm giving 10% of my income to giving, and if that money is done, it is done. There's nothing you can do about it. People should note that about you. So if, for example, you say I'm giving out 100 CDs, and person A comes to give, person B comes to give, and it is done. It is done. And I think that people should be able to take that from people. It's not like you don't want to give, but remember that, okay, if, let me just give it an example. You have 500 CDs to spend, and you've allocated 100 CDs to, let's say, to giving, 100 CDs to food, 100 CDs to your education, 100 CDs to, let's say, your retirement, and your 100 CDs to the 100 CDs that you plan to use for retirement hasn't been put in the retirement account yet, but you've ended up spending your 100 CDs for your this thing, for your giving. If someone comes and you give the 100 CDs that's meant for your retirement is suffering, or your children's education is suffering, or your property is suffering for that particular person. So that's one thing I think people should look at it from that angle. Don't overly stretch yourself, or don't break your back if that goal that you have set for yourself would suffer because you'd have to give to somebody. If you have to give because of that, that's fine. But for me, that's one way that I treat it. I won't give if my allocation for giving is done. That's how it is. Okay, I have another comment from Nee. He says that first quarter has been okay. I haven't defaulted yet on my budget and have been able to invest 80% of all windfalls. Stanley has really been helpful. Yes, thank you. So I mean, it's good need to be able to not default on your budget. It's good, but for me, I was able to stick with my budget in February. So that's another thing. But thanks for your comment. And also, it's really good that you invested about 80% of your windfalls. And like I said, windfalls are just monies that come in at any point in time that you've not planned for it. Then also Stanley, yes, Stanley has been really good, and I'm happy that I've shared with many people about what Stanley offers. Stanley offers two investment products, which are both unit trust, a fixed income and a money market unit trust. Now, the money market is really good for short-term investment. So if you want to invest for, let's say, a 3 month or a 6 month, you can invest in the Stanley Cash Trust. If you want to do some long-term investment as well, do the Starlink Income Fund. It gives you competitive returns, and I think it's really helpful for many people if you want to invest for the long term. And like I mentioned the last time, it's you don't need so much money to invest in Starlink Income Fund or Starlink Cash Trust. You need only how do you call this? You need only 50 Ghana cedis to start, and the deposits that you can do to going forward is 20 cedis. So you shouldn't stress yourself that, oh, I'm waiting for getting so much money before I start investing. No, so you can start with 50 Ghana cedis, and you'll be able to get some really good returns. Last year, for instance, the Starlink Cash Trust did 16.85, and the Income Fund did I think 18.11. So I think it's some good returns. Imagine having 50%, 50 CDs, and getting some good returns like that. Now let me get to my Twitter DM. I think I have a message there from someone. Okay, someone says that, hello bro, one thing I've been able to achieve this year is reduction in the amount used for gambling. Small we go Sean and save the money. Investors they bleed. I think that's something that you should encourage. I mean, I've spoken a lot about betting. I mean, betting is something that I think many people should take it quite seriously in terms of the impact that it has on people's life. Now, we share the story of someone who had spent about 7,000 cedis as at the first half of 2020 on betting, and has gotten zero returns on it. For me, I think you should only bet if you can afford to lose that particular money. If you can't afford to lose that money, I beg you, don't go into betting because it's a risky business. And again, if you want to cut back on your betting, again, you can start small. Maybe often you bet twice in a week or 4 times in a week, or even every day. You can say, okay, no, I'll go maybe once a week or twice a week. They can gradually reduce the betting. But another thing I should probably hammer on is that, guys, please don't borrow to bet. I beg you in the name of God. If you want to bet with the income that you have. Don't bet with a borrowed income. Yeah, I hope that's quite clear. Again, if you can, please stop gambling. But if you can't, try to reduce it and only bet the money that you can afford to lose. It's really important for me. And again, guys, if you enjoyed this session, you can tweet about it. You can just post the link on your social media for people to join in. You can also recommend my YouTube channel to other people to also subscribe. You can give this video a thumbs up if you are learning something from it. It will be really helpful for my channel as well. This year, I'm hoping that I'm able to grow my YouTube channel to so many subscribers and so many views. So hopefully you can help me with this journey. Thank you. Again, if you have any question, you can always hit me up on my DM or put in the chat, and we will just talk about it. Really helpful. Now, let me just, without any further questions in that, let me just zoom into what I'm planning on doing for the rest of the year. Now, the number one thing that I think everybody should do is, one, reflect and learn from the mistakes. And that's one thing that I think everybody should do. Start learning from whatever you've learned, the mistakes you made in the first quarter. So you can just say that, okay, this month, this is what I did wrong. What can I do better? And that's the import of this conversation that we are having. Let's say this month I was able to save or win for, so I was able to cut back on betting, or I wasn't able to save on this or save on that. Then how can I improve upon that in the coming months or in the coming weeks ahead? So that's what I want everybody to look at as a first step. Reflect on what the year has been so far and what you can improve on. So now you know the areas that you want to improve on. Whether it's you want to improve on your savings bit, you want to improve on your investment bit, or you want to improve on your expense bit. So now you know exactly where, then you drill it down. Let's say it's expenses. For me, it was about the food expenditure. How do I then go about it? Then you can map out road. Okay, I think I can do this. I can do this. You can always share with me some of the things you want to do. Or again, you can ask your accountability partner that this is what I want to do. Would that also be helpful for me, or would that help me achieve my goals? That would really be helpful. Another thing that I want to do from this month going, is that I want to, like I mentioned earlier, I want to use my car for Uber, and I'll give it a trial period, maybe a week. If it's successful, then I can maybe do it permanently. So hopefully that will bring me some extra income coming in. And I think that, again, more income coming in, I'm starting a financial literacy masterclass. I've been able to fully develop a financial literacy course, and very soon I'll share with you. So if you're a group that you want me to come and talk to you about financial literacy, everything about financial literacy will be in the course content. So I'll share with you guys, and you guys can hopefully come on board, groups, individuals. Then we can also, how do you call it, we can all improve on our financial literacy really soon. And I'm hopeful that I'll also be able to keep on speaking with many people as well about financial literacy. So if you have any group, you can just hit me up on my DM. I'll have a conversation with you, then we can schedule a time as well. Now, hopefully, again, this coming month, you see my podcast coming out live and strong. So, guys, be on the lookout for it, and hopefully, you can get to enjoy some really good content. Again, if any ideas for me for my podcast and for my YouTube, please let me know. Hit me up, and I would try and incorporate some of these things in my content. I think that's about it for me, what I plan to do, and also cut back on some of the costs that I spend on, especially on my food. I still want to cut back on my food bit as well. So yeah, hopefully I'm able to cut back more on that too for the months ahead. And so if you have anything that you plan to do for the rest of the year, also feel free to share it with me. Then we can also have a discussion about it. Yeah, and hopefully if Bitcoin prices come down, I don't know, but if Bitcoin prices come down, probably I'll look to invest in some Bitcoin as well. And also, yes, again, I'm going strong on meeting my investment targets for the year. So yes, so let's go strong. Let's still have that target that we want to achieve at the end of the year. Let's go strong. Let's stick to our guns, and hopefully be able to meet our investment target at the end of the year. Fingers crossed for that as well. And I think basically that's all that I had for you today. So I've spoken to you about what I was able to achieve. Like I mentioned, I was able to clear the outstanding loan that I had. Was a quite substantial amount, but I'm going to pay off within 3 years instead of the 5 years that I had. I've been able to pay off in 3 years. I've been able to cut back on my food expenditure. I was able to speak on many platforms, work with the AU and UNICEF on financial literacy. I was able to avoid impulse buying for most often. I was able to tap into my accountability partner in terms of whether to help me in my expenses or also in my income generation ideas. So everybody, I encourage you to also do same. Find that person that you really trust to help you achieve that goal that you want to do. Again, having an accountability partner is really critical. Remember that you don't have all the ideas, you don't have everything figured out. Talk to people, find that person you really trust, and let that person help you achieve the goals you want to achieve. Again, trust the process. If you want to build wealth, it's not an easy process. I always say that investment is sacrifice. If you want to achieve that goal you want to do, guys, you need to stick to your guns, small, little by little. You may not see the progress, but trust me, at the end of the tunnel, right, you see that, wow, I was able to actually do this. Truth be told, I didn't really think I'll be able to pay off this loan in 3 years. But again, because I had that mental picture that I wanted to do this, I was able to stick to the guns and try and do it. So hopefully everybody, you can stick to your gun and hopefully achieve that particular goal that you want to do. I think that's just that for me, and I'm hopeful that you also learned something from this session. If you learned something, you can tweet about it, share this link, and also get someone talking about it as well. So if you have any questions too, you can always hit me up on my DM, and you have a good conversation about it. I think I'll pause here. If you have any questions, I'll take them. If you have any suggestions too, I'll take them. Then at the end of the day, we'll just say thank you so much for joining in, and hopefully you've subscribed already. If you haven't subscribed, please do, because it's really helpful. Thank you to my friends who have been helpful all the time, joining in as well. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your support in growing my YouTube channel. God bless each and every one of you. Shout out to everybody on here. Thank you, Xavier. Thank you for holding me down. Thank you, guys. So if you have any questions, I'll just take them. If not, I'll just have to say thank you, and we'll have a lovely evening. I think we can also continue the conversation on Clubhouse. If you're on Clubhouse, I think at 8 o'clock, I'll just start a room on Clubhouse. You can also join me. Search for Your Money Matters. That's a Clubhouse. You can just search me. There's some video on Clubhouse. We can continue the conversation from there as well. Thank you guys so much for your support. See you soon. God bless each one of you, and have a good 9 months ahead of you. and hopefully December we get to chill more. See you soon. Vamos. Thank you, Nick, for joining. Thank you guys for joining. See you soon.